back to the Mitten and the Buckeye State. Today, we'll be chasing an older GE Y-cab locomotive on the Toledo and Saginaw sub. We'll be chasing an older EMD as well on the GR sub, including a couple Macs on the Toledo and the GR. So let's get started here in South Deshler, Ohio. We'll be making our way to the Toledo sub on August 9th, 2025. I was given word throughout the morning that there will be a couple trains throughout the day that will be having some pretty good power to meet. M506 that are blowing for South Deshler, with a Mac leading, a Jibo trailing 2 out of 3, and then an SD40-2 trailing 3 out of 3, coming from Cincinnati, Ohio to Wallbridge, Ohio. Oh yeah, throughout this day, my friends who joined me in my own vehicle were Gio, Alex, and Colin. And by the time we were getting 506 here, we literally had to get back on the road to South Ottawa. And that purpose means that our train that we were waiting for is coming up to Lima, and we did not want to risk getting the whole train at South and Deshler of 506, so we literally just had to screw the whole train and basically made our way south. We had other friends coming to South and Ottawa as well to shoot M510. M510 would have an older GE Y-cab locomotive as it was in the older YN2 paint scheme. CSX 9032 would be in the lead, including a fresh SD70 Mac trailing.
Are you serious right now, bro?
After getting 510 here at South End, Ottawa, we decided to make our way to South Deshler. After realizing we should have only caught the half of a train and then just head straight to South Deshler. But my slow-ass mind decided to record the whole train at South End, Ottawa, and me thinking not to head to Deshler. Well, we were trying to make it to South Deshler. By the time we made it there, the train was already going by South Deshler signals. So, only best shot that we can do is go in town and go by to the whale park and shoot 510 there again. We end up seeing 510 stopped for at least 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20, before the train even started to move again. This is 510 wait here taking the connection, because there was a southbound that was getting ready to head south right after M510. After getting the whole train at Deshler, we decided to go onto this one road at Hoytville. We decided to pace the train a little bit before losing sight on the train. But after we would pace the train a little bit, we would head to Raising Cane's in Perrysburg, Ohio, to go eat there for a late dinner before making my way back home. After pacing the train over North Baltimore, we decided to stop chasing the train for the night. And basically after that, we went up to Perrysburg, Ohio to get some food. After that, Alex and I went to my house, and Alex stayed the night, and basically got up at 7:30 in the morning. And by the time we got up, we got word about 5:10 leaving from Woolwich to head to Detroit, Michigan. We would still have the Dash 9 leading, same thing with the Max 12. Everything with the cars is still the same as we saw it from yesterday. So this will be the final time that we would see M510 for this chase. We are back in the Mitten State, and today we are going to be over in New Richmond, Michigan, and East Saugatuck. We are going to be shooting trains along the Grand Rapids Subdivision. Our first train that we are going to be catching on the Grand Rapids Sub is not only that a Gevo, but it's going to have a SD70 Mac, a flared one too. It's M326. M326 is a Chicago to Grand Rapids, Michigan train. 326 is usually a night and afternoon train, but today I would get lucky on seeing 326 in the afternoon. Yes, I know we're in November, but along the western part of the state, there was a lot of autumn colors still along the Grand Rapids Sub. So today I would be lucky on shooting the autumn colors for the last time on the Grand Rapids Sub. after the train stopped, because there was a good reason why it stopped, it ended up stalling on the hill at New Richmond. So they had to have this SD50-3 pulling up the train on the hill before 301 would head north/east. November 6, 2025. As you can already see, we caught 326 already. And this is the same day too. Both trains that we are catching today, both have EMD power. The first train that we caught was 326 we caught earlier as he was stalled on the hill over by New Richmond. And well, that had a flare Mac leading. What really got my attention is L301. L301 usually runs from the Grand Rapids area down to over in Stevensville. Yeah, over down in Stevensville. That's like over by the Michigan and Indiana border. So basically he went all the way down there to work and basically came back north to come back to Grand Rapids. But unfortunately today he had to come straight up to New Richmond, and then 326 stalled on the hill. So 301's power ended up pushing 326's train all the way up to the hill, and basically had 301's power pick up their train again to head back to Grand Rapids. I know it's kind of early, but I just wanted to say I am going back to the spot where I was at previously, because I think they're bringing 326's train all the way back and then pushing the train all the way up. Yeah, as I said, we are back at the previous spot as we caught 326 earlier. And now we're back here again, catching 326 again, at the same crossing but a different angle. 326 was able to go through the hill and make it all the way up to Grand Rapids this time. Since you can hear 326's horn, you could hear the rumble of the SD50-3. He was pulling this train up through this hill. So, getting this video was insane. So I was just chilling in the car and waiting for the SD50 to show up. Well, this is where I found them sitting at. They were basically sitting at a nearby signal just north of town of New Richmond. After them getting a signal from dispatch, we basically came back to the one spot that we were at for 326 for 2 times in a row. This time, I would get some really nice video of the SD50-3 going around the curve.
going down the hill, we were looking at different places. You can see where it starts to wear off on the rail, and the rail gets kind of brown and grayish brown looking. where that's wearing off the wheels onto the rail.
Trying to keep the rail intact for curves and all that, but yeah, it's got to be used appropriately and sparingly.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's why they moved it down there in the first place, because the first one was doing the same thing.
The thing is, you don't put grease anywhere near a hill.
Common sense says that, doesn't it?
Rather replace the rail than have a drain stall on it all the time.
Exactly.
I got you. They're going to go out there, and I'm sure they're going to use their wisdom and show us how it's done.
Exactly. Till tomorrow, at least I won't be here.
Have a good weekend.
You as well, thank you.
After 15-20 minutes has passed, L301 has wound in a corner and basically went past through this crossing. And while this will be the final time that we would see L301 on the GR sub, I basically decided to head back to campus and end the day here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time in the Mitten or Buckeye State.
Saugatuck, CSXs.